In this episode, I share with you an interview that I was a part of and talk about how to wrestle with doubt and insecurity while still trying to follow God's calling for your life. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Justin here, and welcome to another episode of That Christian Vlogger, where you get to join me and experience faith in the first person. If you are new here, then definitely consider subscribing as I make new videos each and every single Monday and Thursday. Since moving to the Northwest, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of really amazing people. And one of these many cool people that I've got to connect with so far is called Pastor Rick Bowes, who happens to serve a church out here in Meadowglade, Washington. Pastor Rick is a huge supporter of young people in ministry and believes that no matter how small and insignificant you might actually feel, that God still wants to work through you. In fact, I am working on some plans with Pastor Rick and the rest of his pastoral team for a sort of YouTube camp that will hopefully take place this summer. Kind of like how they have those 1-week basketball or soccer camps during the summer, except for this one will be especially for those who are wanting to start a YouTube channel. The goal through this is to help train and equip young people on how to start and grow a successful YouTube channel of their own for God to use, and I'm pretty stoked to be a part of it all. It's really cool when you get to have people like Pastor Rick who are there to encourage and challenge young people to use their gifts for God. By the way, don't worry if you don't live up here in the Northwest, because I've also recorded like a 15 to 20 part class on how to grow a YouTube channel that I think many of you guys will enjoy. My hope is that it'll be ready in about a week or two, so even if you can't attend the class in person, then you'll still be able to benefit from the material. One of my major goals with this channel is to help pave a pathway for those of you guys who feel a calling from God to start online ministries, and to make that process as easy as possible, whether you're a young person or a pastor, or you happen to actually run a church ministry. So this last week, I received a request from Pastor Rick to share a little bit about my story and my journey over the last year. And so without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this interview and are blessed by it.
Now, we've talked about ordinary people, how God does extraordinary things with them. I want to have Justin Koo come on up here, and he's just an ordinary guy like all of us, and share with us how, since he's an ordinary guy, God has given him something that is touching a lot of lives. Share with us, Justin.
Yeah, so as Pastor said, my name is Justin, and I have the privilege of marrying into this wonderful community here. For those of you who don't know, my wife is Emily, now Koo, then Moore, youngest daughter of Jim and Lene. It was actually about 2 years ago that we were married here in this, right here in this spot, right about here. It's a good day. I like to think so. But for lack of a better word, I'm what you would consider a YouTuber. Now, most of you, I would assume, have heard of YouTube before. Basically, it's an online website where you can host videos. Generally, a lot of people will upload like home videos and just their kids' first steps, or just it's a place for you to store your videos. And that's what I started off doing, about a year ago, just uploading photos and videos of Emily and I when we were in Philadelphia, so that my family could stay in touch with us. And so, it's you've seen the selfie sticks before, right? This is kind of like the upgraded version of a selfie stick. So I walk around going like this. If that's not arrogant enough or narcissistic enough, this is kind of what I do. And this is what my passion is and what I'm really excited about being able to do.
What's the results? So you upload this on YouTube. Everyone knows. Have you heard of YouTube? Okay.
One or two of you guys.
And you know the term upload? Yeah, they got these people, okay. They're on with it. So you upload onto YouTube. And what was the results the first time you did this in terms of numbers? Give us an idea of numbers.
Well, before that, I would say that it's rather a scary. Like, how many of you guys are afraid of coming up here and talking? Would any of you? Yeah. Okay. So it's even more scary when you upload a video onto the internet, because you have no clue who's going to be watching it, right? Especially if you're walking around just holding. Maybe it wasn't this back in the day. It was like a cell phone back in the days, and I was just really afraid walking around in public with my cell phone, looking like I'm an idiot. Of course, like every other millennial out there, with our phones out, just videoing themselves, just goodness, what am I doing? And then I upload it, and I'm thinking, what are people going to be thinking? And I love that you tie in the story of Elijah, Pastor, because Elijah is someone that I can relate to a lot, not because I'm a prophet nor the son of a prophet, but I love what that text says, that Elijah is a man just like us. And you may not actually believe that, but if you read the story of Elijah, when he has to prophesy about rain, he's like, oh, there's going to be rain, right? And then so he's there praying that there would be rain, and then he has a servant there, and he says, hey, go check, is there any rain yet? And the servant comes back and he says, no. Like, your prayers didn't work, sorry. And Elijah's like, oh, shoot. So he gets down and he prays again a second time, right? Now, can you go check one more time? Did anyone watch? Did anyone pay attention? Is God even hearing me right now? The servant goes back out there again, and he comes back and he says, sorry, but no, still nothing. And a third and fourth and fifth and sixth time. And it's literally 7 times before Elijah's prayer seems to get heard. And that's definitely what it feels like at the start of this. Now it's a ministry. It's a channel on YouTube that I call That Christian Vlogger, for lack of a better term. But when I first started, it really felt like that. It really felt that no one was listening, that it didn't matter, no one cared, because in reality, no one cared. And I was just out there chasing kind of like a dream, or chasing something that I was excited about. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make videos on YouTube about my life and about my story. There's a video of me proposing to Emily, if you'd like to watch it there. Or there's stories about how I was jumped in Philadelphia, and I share my experience through that. Or I share lessons that I've learned, and it's kind of become this like video diary of my walk with God and the things that I'm learning and the things that God is teaching me. And so to answer your actual question, roundabout way, but when I first started, I was lucky maybe to get like a dozen or 20 people to even pay attention. No commenting, no one paying it any attention. And it was really, really small, and kind of a depressing thing for me. It's just like, man, I'm putting all this effort into it, and nothing seems to be happening.
So and I'm interpreting some of the story. I know some of the backstory you don't know. Justin's in Philadelphia. He is working in gospel ministry. He's in charge of, right, a group of young people. How many young people, and what are those young people doing?
Yeah, about a dozen young people. I was teaching at an evangelism college in Philadelphia, helping them to learn how to preach or do Bible studies or to do door-to-door literature evangelism or something like that.
So he's engaged in ministry, but he wants to do more. I'm pulling the story out, and you're praying, God, lead me, show me what I can do. Somehow God led you to this. And back to the numbers, you got...
Well, before that, sorry, I know that you have a point that you want me to get to, but I'm jumping in very rudely. I apologize.
This is not rehearsed.
This was not rehearsed.
You probably
Clearly.
can't tell.
We're not this professional in real life. It actually didn't start with a prayer. It started with just something that God placed on my heart. And I find that a lot of times God's plan for your life doesn't begin with a prayer. It's not all of a sudden, oh, I have a great plan for my life. God, this is what I'm going to do. But no, actually, it's kind of the opposite way. It's like kind of like God's whispering and whispering. Hey, there's this thing that you should do. There's these skills and talents that you have and you alone can really implement, and I want you to use it. And so I'm just kind of like, one of these days, I want to make YouTube videos. Why in the world do I want to make YouTube videos? And then I begin to pray. And then I get, okay, God, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to do? Like, I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and I'm willing to follow you. So now you can ask the question that you've been asking like 3 times already.
We've been headed for that number question. You started, and I want to balance these numbers. He started at first, and are you familiar with the term hits? Hits, views?
Not the kind of hits I had in Philadelphia when I got jumped. Those kind of hits aren't good.
So you started out, and you got total of...
Yeah. Now, in the last 30 days, my videos have been seen at least 50,000 times. I've just crossed the 250,000 total views, and each of my videos... And each of the videos isn't just completely the narcissistic me running around with a camera thing, as you'll see in a little bit. But I try to share, I try to pull a nugget or a lesson that God has kind of been whispering in my head throughout that day. And so on some of the days, I just carry the camera around and I film kind of what I'm doing, kind of like an upgraded version of Snapchat for those of you guys who are aware. Never mind. But I try and then I pull a lesson from my day and say, hey, this is what I've been thinking, and this is kind of what this experience in life has taught me, and I try and share that with my audience. And so it's not just a video in my perspective, it's a testimony. You could even loosely define it as a lesson or a Bible study or something like that.
Amen. What we're going to do now is we're going to see an example of this. Then after this is over, you can bind it off a little bit.
Sure.
The example, and then after he binds it off, I get a chance to bind it off. Then Danielle sings.
Perfect. In this episode, I take you with me to California to experience Pathway to Health, one of the most amazing experiences in ministry I've ever been able to have. Stay tuned. Good morning, guys. How's it going? Welcome to another episode of That Christian Vlogger, where you get to come and join me and experience faith in the first person. Clearly, I'm no longer in Philadelphia anymore. In fact, I'm actually at home here in California. This is my dad's house. I got something really awesome to share with you guys in this video. Check it out. So right now, I'm at the Los Angeles Convention Center for this event called Pathway to Health. Pathway to Health is this event put on by my church. We're really trying to reach the entire city of Los Angeles with actually free healthcare. Some crazy number like 4,000 people have banded together to volunteer here at Pathways to help reach this community with a bunch of free services. You see, the Bible talks about over and over how Jesus was a person of the people. In fact, many people would say that Jesus did more mingling and Jesus did more healing than he ever did preaching. And you see, that is the goal of Pathway to Health. This next couple of days is all about the people. It's all about seeing how we can enrich their lives and make their lives better. These people behind me are actually getting free massages right now. Who's this stud? What's this guy doing? How you doing? This is my buddy Luke. He's doing some of the massages for the people out here. Now I know what some of you guys might be thinking, like, oh, massage, that's cute, that's nice, like, oh, but that's not really making a difference. Like, you don't understand, this thing is huge. Let me show you what's taking place right over here. I mean, all these people right here, they're getting free dental care. And check this out, they've got like this whole media broadcasting thing. And I'm just like this guy with a selfie camera stick and like, what am I doing here? Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So what's happening right here? What's all this for?
This is the optical section, and this is where people come to get their glasses.
Oh, cool. So someone just comes here and gets free glasses, basically.
Basically.
Awesome. So here's one thing that I really love about this type of an event. It's so many people getting together and simply contributing what they can. Okay, so you're not a pastor, you're not a preacher, you can't sing, or you can't do any of those things that we traditionally identify as like service in the church context, but listen, you can still do something. So many times we focus on the things that we can't do, like, oh, I can't preach, or I can't do this, or I can't do whatever, but I love this event because everyone here is simply focusing on the thing that they can do. We're stopping from making excuses, and we're just simply going out and doing the thing that we can do. I mean, I've seen people out here cutting hair, giving massages, washing people's feet, doing all kinds of different things. Or you can even be like my friend Essie right here and give away free clothes.
Justin!
Hi Essie, how are you?
Good.
Having fun here?
We are.
So how many pieces of clothing would you say you've given away so far? Thousands. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You see, many times we worried about whether or not we're qualified, if we're skilled enough for a particular job or aspect or something like that. But the truth is, listen, when you are serving people, when you are meeting their needs, they don't care what degrees you have. They don't care whether or not you're qualified, because it just matters that you're there for them, that you're serving. And this is what makes the biggest difference. Never let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. Until next time, I'm That Christian Vlogger, and I want to encourage you to experience faith in the first person. God bless. So first off, a little bit of selfishness in that video. If you would like to see more of the videos that I have over like 120 videos out on my channel right now. You can go to thatchristianvlogger.com to check it out, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you don't know what those words mean, just ask someone younger next to you and you'll figure it out. But okay, so one thing I want to say about this is, again, this started off as just a passion, as a dream, as a vision. In fact, there's a photo that I wanted to show you guys of where it first took place in my apartment in Philadelphia, where I first started. Clearly, I don't have the space. That's our living room, and that's all the stuff I have to move in order to make room for making some of my videos at home. And what I love about what God is doing through this is that I've been able to meet so many people from around the world, literally every single country in the world. I've talked to people in Indonesia, I've talked to people in Kenya, from Sweden, from Canada, from Malaysia. Like, I get to talk with people all over the place. So I make videos and I put out this content that has a lesson that God's just simply sharing with me. It's not like I'm some great expert on the subject. I'm just paying attention to what God is communicating to me. I share that with my audience. And then they write back and we have this dialogue that goes back and forth. And it's so cool to be able to hear stories like this one Muslim viewer who lived in a Muslim country says, I don't have any churches near me, but your content is something that I get to come to. And it's like my online version of church. And it's so cool to see how God has taken something that was just a seed and has grown it. And really, like, I'm no expert at this. I do not know how to video or how to edit or to do any of those things, especially when I started. It was really, really bad. And that's probably why at the beginning stages, no one wanted to watch any of my videos. So there's been a growing curve. But I guess one of the major points that I would want to say is, whatever that thing that you hear in the back of your head, and you've heard it for like the last 6 months, the last year, the 2 years, however many years it's been, where God's been like, hey, you should probably try and jump in on this one thing or get involved with the clinic, because you guys have a clinic here, is that right? So you guys do that type of a thing like all the time, so kudos to you guys. Whatever it is that thing that God has been saying, hey, you should jump in and get involved. Like, the only way that you are going to have an impact on people's lives is by following where God has called you to. And maybe that doesn't mean that you go into an online platform and you create videos like I'm doing. Maybe it doesn't mean that you're up here preaching like pastor, but there's something that you can do. And the reality is you might actually be exactly like Elijah, facing that third, fourth, fifth time of you've been praying and you've been working on something and nothing happened. Keep on going to that, at least that seventh time, and you'll see the little cloud coming in the size of a fist coming through, and you'll see the answer to your prayer, and you'll see God work through you. And I'd like to say that there's very little in life, in fact, that there's nothing in life that compares to the joy of being able to be used by God in the way that He's called you to. Amen. So I just want to encourage you guys to take that next step, and as I tell my viewers, to experience faith in the first person for yourself.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that interview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit of a difference and kind of a break from the normal just me in my office talking. And if you like this style of video, if you like more interviews, more content like that, then definitely give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you would like to support this ministry, there are a few ways that you can do it. The first is to become a patron, which means that you basically are a monthly supporter of this channel, and you can do that at patreon.com/thatchristianvlogger. The other way that you can help is actually by purchasing one of these shirts. Many of you guys have been asking me, how do I get one of these shirts that you've been wearing over the last several months? And finally, I have a store online where you can actually purchase a shirt for yourself or for a friend. And every time you do so, it just continues to help support this ministry and enabled me to make more videos exactly like this. So if you want to help out, that is one way to do it. But until next time, I want to encourage you to experience faith in the first person. God bless.